Good day everyone. So for today's discussion is magtakol ta about Laplace transform. So basically Laplace transform is a transformation of a function in terms of time or the t domain to s domain. So to transform a function of f of t to s domain is we need to use this equation. F of s is equals to integral of from 0 to infinity f of t e raised to the power of negative st dt. So, for example, we need to find the Laplace transform of 1. So, basically, 1 is our f of t. So, to solve this equation is integral of from 0 to infinity f of t, which is 1, e raised to the power of negative s t dt, or we can write this equation as integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to the power of negative st dt. So, any variable multiplied by 1 is just the variable itself. So, to solve this equation, we need to let u as negative st. Then, du is negative s dt. So, to find the value of dt is just equals to du over negative s. So next is we can write this equation as integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to u then dt is just equals to du over negative s. So, any variable na wala nag-contain of t is just pwede na to siya i-consider as constant. So, pwede na to siya ipagawas sa equation 1 over negative s integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to u du. So, integral of e raised to u du is just equals to negative s eu from 0 to infinity. Then, negative 1 over s. We can write this as eu, which is u is equals to negative st from 0 to infinity. So, next is negative 1 over s. Ato lang i-substitute ang value sa t as 0 and infinity. So, e negative s from infinity max limit minus e negative s 0 times 0 sa iyang minimum limit. So, equals to negative 1 over s e negative s multiplied to infinity is just equals to 0. Then negative s multiplied by 0 is 0. E raised to the power of 0 is just equals to 1. So, negative 1 over s multiply to negative 1 is equals to 1 over s. So, the Laplace transform of 1 is just equals to 1 over s. So, next example. So, for our next example is we need to find the Laplace transform of 9, which is 9 is our f of t. So, substitute lang gyapon nato. Integral of from 0 to infinity f of t, which is 9, which is 9 e raised to the power of negative st dt. So, let u is equals to negative st. So, the derivative of u in terms of t is just equals to negative s dt. So, to find dt is just equals to du over negative s. So, just substitute integral of from 0 to infinity 9 e raised to the power of u which is negative st. So, we can let this negative st to u. Then, dt is du over negative s. So, next is kaning 9 which is constant and negative s is constant. So, pwede natin siya ipagawa sa equation. So, 9 over negative s integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to u du. So, derivative of the integral of du is just equals to eu. So, negative equals to 9 over negative s. The integral of du is just equals to eu. Then, its limit is from 0 to infinity. So, negative 9 over s. Then, e negative st 0 to infinity. So to find its limit is negative 9 over negative s. Substitute the value negative s of t from infinity maximum limit minus e raised to the power of negative s times 0. So e raised to the power of infinity is just equals to zero. Then negative s multiplied by 0 is just equals to 0. So e raised to the power of 0 is 1. Then 9 over negative s multiplied by 0 minus 1 is just equals to 9 over s. So, manotice din ninyo nga, diba ganina is the Laplace transform of 1 is 1 over s. Then, the Laplace transform of 9 is 9 over s. So, therefore, we can conclude that the Laplace transform of any constant is just equals to constant over s. So basically, muni siya ang iyahag yung murag na sila'y formula gyud sa pagkuha sa Laplace transform of a constant, which is kaning c over s. Then, sa katong previous nako, sa duha nako ka-example, ako lang ginapakita kung giunsa nila pagkuha ng a formula. So, therefore na, atong na-prove nga, ang Laplace transform sa any constant is just equals sa constant over s. So, iyan na lang na siya. Then, next is, so to solve, let u is equals to lambda minus s multiplied by t. So derivative of u is just equals to lambda minus s dt. So to find the value of dt is just equals to du over lambda minus s. Next is e raised to the power of u du dt is, we need to substitute the value of dt, which is du over lambda minus s. So all variables that does not contain t is just equals to a constant. So ipagawas nato ning lambda minus s since constant ni sila. integral of from 0 to infinity eu du. So the integral of eu du is just equals to eu. So 1 over lambda minus s eu with limits from 0 to infinity. Next is substitute the value of eu. So equals e 1 over lambda minus s value of u is equals to lambda minus s multiplied by t with limits from 0 to infinity. So substitute the infinity and 0. 1 over lambda minus s is e raised to the power of lambda minus s infinity minus e lambda minus s raised to the times 0. So e raised to the power of infinity is just equals to 0. Then e raised to the power of any constant multiplied by 0 is just equals to 0. So e raised to the power of 0 is just is equals to 1. So 1 over lambda minus s is multiplied by 0 minus 1 is equals to 1 over negative lambda plus s, or we can rewrite this as f of s is equals to 1 over s minus lambda. So the Laplace transform of e raised to the power of lambda times t is 1 over s minus lambda. So next example is, so for our next example is find the Laplace transform of t. So integral of from 0 to infinity f of t is, which is t, substitute e raised to the power of negative s t dt. So to solve this equation is using the integration by parts. We will let u as t and du is equals to is equals to e raised to the power of negative st dt then v is equals to negative 1 over s e negative s t. So, if mag-wonder mo giyon sa pagkuha sa value sa v, from dv, mag-let u is equals to negative st. Then, du is negative s dt. So, to find the value of dt is equals to du negative s. So, from there, mahimo na siyang eu dt, which is ang dt nimo negative st is du over negative s, which is eu, then dt is du over negative s. So, kung i-integrate na nimo siya, ipagawas nimo ang negative 1 over s. Then, integral sa eu is e negative st. So, munang v is equals to negative 1 over s e negative e raised to the power of negative st. So, afterwards is using integration by parts uv minus v du. So, substitute lang nato sa mga nakuha nato nga value. Which is, ang imuhang u is t, ang imuhang v is negative 1 over s e raised to the power of negative st from 0 to infinity minus integral of v du, which is v is negative 1 over s. So, negative from 0 to infinity. So, negative 1 over s in raised to the power of negative st. Then, ang dv is du is dt. So first, isolve sa ni natong equation. So to simplify this, pwede rin nato i-write as t negative t over s e raised to the power of negative s t st from 0 to infinity minus integral of 0. So, since 1 over s is set as constant, pagawas na to siya, may plus 1 over s. Ang mabili na lang is e negative s t dt. So, next is itong isolve ang limit from 0 to infinity aning equation. So, may mo siyang negative infinity over s e raised to the power of negative s times infinity minus 0 over negative. So, meron siyang plus. Over s e raised to the power of negative s 0 plus 1 over s integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to the power of negative st dt. So, e raised to the power of negative s to infinity is 0. 0 multiplied by any constant is just equals to 0 gapon. Then minus negative 0 over s times e raised to the power of negative s times 0 is 0 over s is just equals to 0. 0 times any constant is just equals to 0. So, the whole equation is 0 plus 1 over s integral of 0 to infinity e raised to the power of negative st dt. So, we can let anig u as negative st du is negative s dt so dt so dt is equals to negative du over s. So, 1 over s integral of infinity from 0 to infinity from 0 to infinity e raised to the power of u. Substitute the value of dt, which is negative du over s. So, since 1 over s is just constant, so ito siyang ipagawas. So, mahimo na siyang negative 1 over s squared. Integral of from 0 to infinity eu du integral of EU du is just equals to EU. Ngayon mo siya, negative 1 over s squared EU from 0 to infinity. So substitute the value of u, 1 over s squared e raised to the power of negative st, which is the value of u, from 0 to infinity. So negative 1 over s squared, substitute, find the limit, so e negative s, t is infinity, minus e negative s 0. So negative s times infinity, e raised to the power of negative s times infinity is just equals to 0. Negative s multiplied by 0, 0 multiplied by a constant is 0, so e raised to the power of 0 is 1. 0 minus 1 is just equals to negative 1, so substitute. So therefore, negative 1 over s squared is equals to multiplied by negative 1 is equals to 1 over s squared. Therefore, the Laplace transform of t is 1 over s squared. So, next example. Find the Laplace transform of t squared. So again, integral of from 0 to infinity, substitute the value of f of t, which is t squared, times e raised to the power of negative st dt is equals. So to solve this equation is using integration by parts. Identify first the u. U is t squared du is 2t. Then dv is e raised to the power of negative st. Then v is negative 1 over s e raised to the power of negative st. So we need to find uv minus integral of v du. So just substitute the given value. So uv is t squared. First, u is t squared multiplied by v, which is negative 1 over s e raised to the power of negative st with limits from 0 to infinity minus v du. So v from 0 to infinity Japon. So v is negative 1 over s e raised to the power of negative st times du. du is 2t. So first, we need to solve this equation. T squared times negative 1 over s e raised to the power of negative st. So we can write this equation as t squared over negative s e raised to the power of negative st from 0 to infinity. From 0 to infinity minus, so since this equation is 2t dt, 2t dt, forgot, wait, this is 2t dt. dt na siya. So, we all know that 2 is constant and negative 1 over s is constant. So, pagawas na to siya, mahimong plus, mahimong 2 over s. Then, integral of from 0 to infinity raised to the power of negative st dt. T dt. So, we need to solve this first. So, substitute the value from infinity to 0. Infinity squared negative infinity squared over s times e raised to the power of negative s times infinity minus negative 0 over t squared s times e raised to the power of negative s times 0 plus 2 over s integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to the power of negative st dt. T dt. So, from this equation, negative infinity squared multiplied by e raised to the power of negative s times infinity is just equals to 0. Then, negative 0 squared over s is 0 multiplied by negative s times 0 is 1. So, 0 minus 1 is just equals to 0. So, the whole equation is 0. Then, ang mabilin is 2 over s integral of 0 to infinity e raised to the power of negative st dt. So, next is s integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to the power of negative s t dt. So, using integration by parts again, let u is equals to t du is equals to dt. Then v is equals to e raised to the power of negative st. Then so this is dv, by the way. This is dv. Then v is equals to negative 1 over s e raised to the power of negative st. So, using integration by parts, uv minus integral of v du. Substitute lang nato ang mga nakaka value. So, u is t multiplied by v, which is negative 1s e raised to the power of negative st from its limit 0 to infinity, minus integral of from 0 to infinity v, which is so nanatoy 2s diri ganina. Nanatoy 2s. Then ang value ni v is negative 1 over s e raised to the power of negative st. Then du is dt. So, let's solve it first. Kaning sa left side. So, substitute the value. Infinity over s, negative infinity over s, e raised to the power of negative s times infinity minus negative t, which is 0, over s e raised to the power of negative s times 0 minus 2s. Ipagawas na to ang constant, negative 1s times 2 over s is just equals to plus 2s squared. Then integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to the power of negative st dt. So negative infinity over s is just equals to 0 multiplied 0 multiplied by e raised to the power of negative s times infinity is just equals to 0. Then 0 over s is 0 times e raised to the power of negative s 0 is 1. So 0 minus 0 times 1 is just equals to 1. Is just equals to 0. So 0 minus 0 is 0. Ang mabilin na equation is 2 over s squared times 2 over s squared integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to the power of negative st dt. So, integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to the power of negative st dt. So, next is solve this integration. So, let u negative st, then du is derivative of u in terms of t is negative s dt. Then to find dt is just equals to du over negative s. So 2 over s squared integral of from 0 to infinity e raised to the power of u times dt is negative du over s. So, pagawas na to, since constant si negative 1 over s, pagawas na to direct. So, mahimo na lang negative 2s squared multiplied by 1 over s is negative 2s cubed. Integral of from 0 to infinity eu du. So, integral of eu du is eu. So, negative 2 s cubed eu, which is u is negative st from 0 to infinity. So, negative 2 over s cubed multiplied by e raised to the power of negative s times infinity minus e raised to the power of negative s times 0. So, negative s times e raised to the power of negative s times infinity is 0. Then, negative s multiplied by 0 is 0. E raised to the power of 0 is 1. So, negative 2s cubed multiplied by negative 1 is equals to 2 over s squared. S cubed. So, therefore, the Laplace transform of t squared is equals to 2 over s cubed. So, from the previous example, the Laplace transform of t is equals to Laplace transform of t. The Laplace transform of t is equals to 1 over s squared. 1 over s squared. So, by this, nakakome up sila o how to solve Laplace transform of t to the power of n. N is any constant number. They concluded na ang formula ana is n factorial over s n plus 1. So, for example, so itong i-prove. If t squared, so the value of n is 2. If t squared, so the value of n is 2 factorial s raised to the power of 2 plus 1. So, 2 times 1 is 2 over s cubed. So, which is same sila. So, no need na using this table, using this formula, this equation, no need na nimo isolve kung makakita kag f of t nga ang value is t raised to the power of n. So, pwede nimo siya ma-solve using this formula. So, basically, muna iyang Laplace transform table. So, Laplace transform e raised to the power of lambda t is, pag makakita mag-ingani nga f of t, pwede rin nimo iset as 1 over s minus lambda. So, muna iyang Laplace transform ani nga f of t. So, Laplace transform of any constant is just equals sa c over s. Then, Laplace transform sa t to the power of n is just equals to n factorial over s to the power of n plus 1. Then, Laplace transform of cosine b times t is just equals to s over s squared plus b squared. Then, Laplace transform of sine bt is just equals to b squared over s squared plus b squared. So, for your activity is, first, since dali ra ta kutob sa pag-prove ani nga mga theorem, ang inyong assignment is need niyo i-prove na ang cosine bt is iyahang Laplace transform is s over s squared plus b squared, ug ang sine bt is iyahang Laplace transform is b squared over s squared plus b squared. So, muna inyong first activity. Then, second is find the Laplace transform of the following t domain equations. So, find the Laplace transform of 10 e raised to the power of t, then Laplace transform of t to the power of 8. Then, lastly is the Laplace transform of 5 e raised to the power of 2t minus t cubed. So, that's all for today, and thank you.